Right, we now move on to chapter 27, An-Naml. The beginning of An-Naml is an interaction with the Quran again. Here it starts with Tasin, as we say the Muqatta'at. Tilka ayatul Quran wa kitabun mubin. So, one of the signs of the Quran and the Kitabul Mubin. So when you read the Quran and you bring forward your recitation for that particular situation, it has to be Kitabul Mubin. It has to be clearly arranged and clearly systematic. And then it will become, as verse 2 tells us, Hudan wa bushra lil mu'mineen, a guide and good news for the believers. And it continues, alladhi yukimuna salat, they establish salat, etc., etc. And it goes on to say in verse 6, وَإِنَّكَ لَطُلَّكَ الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ لَدُنْ حَكِيمٌ عَلِيمٌ. So the Quran is thrown to you from the nearness or the presence of Hakim Alim. That's Allah. Allah is absolutely judicious and absolutely knowing. Then it continues from verse 7 to verse 14. It's rather short for Musa, but this is Musa in An-Naml. It talks about a particular aspect of the story of Musa, where Musa discovers Allah, and the signs of Allah are coming to him. Then it continues to the main part of the story, which is the story of Sulaiman. That's from verse 15. Here Sulaiman's mulk, or his dominion, is shown, and Sulaiman is shown to organize his dominion very well, from the jinns to the ins to the tayr. These are various aspects of humanity, various levels of human beings, which Sulaiman kept in order. Sulaiman also heard of another kingdom, which is the kingdom of Saba, and this kingdom has a leader who owns the people, Yamliku. Tamliku. This woman leader, she owned her people, and this prompted Sulaiman to call them to be Muslimin. And Sulaiman sent them a kitab, which is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. That's verse 30. So basically we can see that the purpose of the Islamic system is to liberate. It's there to give people mulk to themselves. They are not meant to be controlled or owned by anyone. And Sulaiman called this leader, and she saw the truth, and she submitted along with Sulaiman. It's very interesting. Sulaiman's the letter says, Allah ta'alu alayya wa atuni muslimin. Be not arrogant against me. That's Allah, because it's Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, so it's Allah. And come to me as Muslimin, as those who are working towards soundness and wholeness. That's verse 31. And if you go on to verse 44, at the end, the queen says, Rabbi inni zalamtu nafsi. Verily, I have oppressed my nafs, my soul. So her own personal development is being curtailed by the state which she was in. Wa aslamtu ma'a Sulaiman lillahi rabbil alamin. And I submit along with Sulaiman. She did not submit to Sulaiman. She submitted alongside with Sulaiman. So aslamtu is to seek a state of peace, to be peaceable, to be peaceful, and she sought this. Right, next from verses 45 to 53 we have the story of Saleh and the Thamud people. Here it's the narrative is not like in chapter 26, which is very short and sharp, but rather it's more discursive. It talks about the problems which Saleh faces. Now, why is this placed here? I mean, that's our usual question. Why are all these things arranged together? Well, the beginning is the story of Musa, as we have seen, then the story of Sulaiman in power. So perhaps the beginning of acquiring that kind of power is spirituality, of Musa hears God for the first time there. Then it fast forwards to Sulaiman. Now it talks about Saleh and the problems which Saleh faces. Next we have the story of Lut from verses 54 to 58. So again, the story of Lut is the most extreme form of oppression in the Quran. I mean, even Fir'aun did not go to the extent of the story of Lut, the people of Lut. So this is perhaps mentioned here to show that this is the prime target of the Islamic system. It is meant to remove this oppression completely. So then it continues telling us about Allah and Allah's relationship with us, all the way to verse 76. 76 is very interesting because it says, "Inna hadha al-Quran yaqussu ala bani Israel akthar alladhi hum fihi yakhtalifun." Verily, this Quran relates on Bani Israel. So the people who are in that movement towards that state, which Israel is moving towards. Israel of the Quran, not the state. The Quran is the one which relates on them. So this is what the Quran is for. Yeah, and it continues and it says, وَإِنَّهُ لَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and it is a guide and a mercy to those who believe. So here we can see that chapter 27 talks about the movement, essentially. The end goal, the beginning, the problems, the object, which is the people of Lut, the extreme oppression which needs to be removed. And then we come to the end, which again talks about the Quran. It says, وَأَنْ أَتْلُو al-Quran, and rehearse or practice the Quran. And any who is guided, they do it for the good of their own souls. And then it continues at the end, وَقُلْ alhamdulillah, say, praise be to Allah. So this state of praise shows that it's an extraordinary event. It's an event which delivers you, provides you with joy and relief. And this is the purpose of chapter 27. So let's move on to chapter 28.